Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Appreciate you jumping on. Do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. It certainly helps the channel. Today, you're going to hear from Chris Giancarlo, former head of the CFTC, excuse me. He's going to talk about how crypto is really the next version of the internet. We're also going to hear about FDIC looking at to give more clarity and what things they're going to be looking at, and much, much more. Lots of crypto news happening over the last few weeks. Let's take a look at pricing first. Bitcoin sitting at 104,315, down slightly over the last 24 hours. Ethereum at the number 2 spot, also down slightly, sitting at 3,271. XRP down 1%, but up over the last 7 days, 9.78%, sitting at $3.18. Tether at the number 4 spot and Solana at the number 5 spot, pretty much flat over the last 24 hours, but up 28.55% over the last 7 days, sitting at $256.13. Let's dive into some news. First, starting with the interview with Chris Giancarlo here on Perino on Politics, talking about how crypto is really the next version, the next layer to the internet, and it's going to move value instead of information. Let's take a listen to this great interview.
And what I would say in one sentence, crypto is the internet doing to finance and banking and money itself what the internet has already done to communications, to information, to shopping, to transportation, to entertainment. What is that? It is moving things of value onto the internet in the same way the first wave of the internet moved information onto the internet. Okay. What crypto says is, in order to record value on the internet, we need a certain set of protocols. Okay. Just as when we went to record information, we came up with HTML, HTTP. Those are different protocols for organizing websites, for sending email.
Like .com, .org.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what crypto is basically systems for recording value on the internet. And what Bitcoin is, you hear these different names, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, XRP. They're different protocols for recording value on the internet. And they all have different properties and they work in different ways.
Is it all worth the same?
Okay, now we're talking about the value proposition.
Let's not get there yet.
A couple more minutes. Okay. We are going to get to that,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But you're hitting the nail on the head. Because they all do different things, they all have different value propositions. Just as HTML does something very different than HTTP and .com and .org. They all have different significance on what's called the first wave of the Internet of Information. The first wave of the Internet was all about recording information, whether it's a website, whether it's an email, whether it's a text message, using this wonderful network called the Internet. It's a network of networks, okay? Now we're moving to the next phase of the Internet, an Internet where we're going beyond recording information, we're now recording value.
How?
In order to record value, we need different protocols. And we need different systems of organization. The first wave of the Internet, that Internet of Information, was organized by volunteers. Yes. It was universities and others that wrote those initial protocols. It's very, it was a magical moment, or a decade in time, or decades.
It was incredible.
It was incredible. Yeah. This time around, to organize people to record value, we've got to find a way to reward them. So there's a lot changed in Washington just in the last few weeks. Trump has come in on a very pro-crypto agenda. The big thing that's changed is 6 months to 9 months ago, a bank president would have been safe to tell you, we're not getting involved in crypto, it's too dangerous. That's completely reversed. Today, any traditional financial institution that doesn't have a crypto strategy is in threat of actually reputation risk because they're not looking forward. Elections have consequences. The dramatic consequence here is that traditional finance now is suddenly realizing. So in the last few months, or last few weeks, I've met with the CEOs of some of New York's most prominent financial institutions. Every one of them says, I need a crypto strategy. There's reputation risk to their positions as CEO if their firms are not now forward-looking.
It's interesting.
As soon as we get legislation, these institutions are going to dive in head first. Coming in from Smoke Dog, he says January 21st, 2025, press release from the FDIC Chairman Travis Hill. Below is a list of matters I expect the FDIC to focus on in the coming weeks and months. Digital assets and tokenization will be prioritized by the FDIC in the coming weeks. Here is the document and the press release by the FDIC, again stating what the list of matters that they'll be focusing on in the coming weeks and months. And the one Smoke Dog highlighted here: adopt a more open-minded approach to innovation and technology adoption, including 1, a more transparent approach to fintech partnerships and to digital assets and tokenization, and 2, engagement to address growing technology costs for community banks. So there you have it. FDIC is now getting on board as well since the administration has changed. Good stuff. Moving into tweet here from Tony Edwards from the Thinking Crypto podcast. He says, huge news. SEC launches crypto task force led by Commissioner Hester Peirce. So there you go. Now that Gary Gensler is gone, the folks at the SEC feel like they can be more aggressive, more open, more transparent. So they're going to create a crypto task force announced by acting chairman Ueda here. So we'll see what comes of this. But Mark Ueda is acting chairman until Paul Atkins is sworn in. But this is great to see them not waiting and developing this task force. And we know Trump has a crypto committee being started as well, headed by David Sachs. I'm sure they'll be working closely together. Good stuff there. Coming in from Altcoin Daily. Here we have a tweet says, breaking: Donald Trump pardons Ross Ulbricht. So that's great to see. He said he was going to do it on day 1. He actually did it on day 2. So kudos to Donald Trump for living up to that promise. Mr. Mann comes in here and says, I've been warning you all for years now. The T20 states that Tether's reserves are not backed 1-to-1 as stated in the BIS, Prudential Treatment of Crypto Assets. Tether is backed 0.74-to-1. They've not completed an audit. They're not transparent. What you decide to do with your money.
And what I would say in one sentence.
Excuse me there. Sorry about that. What you decide to do with your money is none of my business, but I'll keep sounding the alarm on this one. And if you end up wrecked, it's on you. And of course, we've been talking about that on this channel for some time now, that Tether is not reliable. He is retweeting Crypto Briefing here saying, just in, Coinbase CEO Armstrong states the exchange would delist Tether if required by law amid potential U.S. legislation mandating full reserves in treasury bonds. So Tether's likely to go away here on Coinbase in Europe due to the micro regulations. And guess where that liquidity is going to flow? It's going to flow to Circle, and it's also going to flow to RLUSD, Ripple stablecoin. Some refer to as the real stablecoin. Coming in here from Emily. Emily says the U.S. Treasury has just created an XRP wallet. But now there is community notes here. So I'm glad I caught this. It says, this claim is factually incorrect. These accounts originated in the Philippines and have no association with stated parties. Good. This is what community notes is all about. So somebody posts this and they might think they have the information correct, but in fact, it is not accurate. I've seen other people post this too. So if you see it not correct, the U.S. Treasury has not created an XRP wallet. It may at some point, but as of today, that is not true. So good catch there by Community Notes, Elon and his team. Coming in from John Deaton here, he says, huge: SoftBank CEO Masayoshi Son to President Trump. And let me show you this video, because this gentleman said he was going to bring $100 billion to the States with new business, and now he's coming back with more. So take a listen to this brief segment.
Well, Mr. President, last month I came to celebrate your winning and promised that we will invest $100 billion. And you told me, oh, Masa, go for 200. Now I came back with 500. Because this is the, as you said yesterday, this is the beginning of golden age of America. This is one great example, I think, right? We wouldn't have decided to do this.
I think so.
This is the beginning of golden age. We wouldn't have decided unless you won. And yesterday we agreed, we signed to make this happen.
That's great.
Because of this day.
Very nice.
So we would make this happen. We would immediately start deploying $100 billion with the goal of making $500 billion within next 4 years, within your term, right? Because of your success.
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? SoftBank CEO not only going to go for $200 billion, but he's raising the stakes to $500 billion. Now, this is a partnership. It's not just SoftBank. It's between SoftBank, OpenAI, and I think Oracle. I'm not sure of the third company, but I know it's OpenAI, SoftBank, and I think it's Oracle. So $500 billion because, as you say, this is the beginning of the golden age of America, he stated. So great stuff there. Kudos to those folks for making this happen. Chad Steingraber here says, read the highlighted part, then read it again. XRP is the transactional side of it. It says here, talking about Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan said that the U.S. banking industry will embrace cryptocurrency for payments if regulators allow it. He said, if the rules come in and make it a real thing that you can actually do business with, you'll find the banking system will come in hard on the transaction side of it. He said this at the World Economic Forum in Davos just a day or two ago in Switzerland. So, and Chris Giancarlo says, trust me, it's going to happen. So we're just, again, waiting on regulation. And hopefully, it'd be great if we heard something this week on SAB 121. We will see. Also from Chad Steingraber here, he says, retweeting also that the SEC Crypto Task Force has been announced. So we touched on this earlier. Hester Pierce is going to lead that agency-wide. She doesn't know how long she's going to be with the SEC, but she certainly wants to help while she's there. She could be on to bigger and better things, but she's been a great part of the SEC. And even under Gary Gensler has tried to be transparent, but she could only do so much with Gary leading that division. So kudos to her as on to leading that task force. Here is the interview. Let me give this to you quickly with, we probably can't get all of it, but we can get some of it here with Brian Moynihan of Bank of America. Let's give a little bit of this interview here.
There's still 4,000 banks, so it's not like there's considered the disaggregation industry.
Let me ask you a separate question, and Becky's got one back in Washington, but on crypto. We just had Brian Armstrong sitting in the seat that you were in, and obviously there's a lot of excitement about crypto. The banking business, for the most part, has stayed away from crypto. Given President Trump's full-throated support for crypto, do you imagine Bank of America is going to be full on in the crypto business if we have this conversation 12 months, 24 months from now?
I'd separate out this sort of crypto versus stable assets and digital movement of money, because we already move the vast majority of our money digitally. Our consumers do, our companies do. And so the question is, what's the business practice that you have to move another type of currency? So if the rules come in and make it a real thing that you can actually do business with, you will find that the banking system will come in hard on the transactional side of it, non-anonymous, transactional, verified, et cetera, because we have to, because it's just another way our customers are going to.
The other thing we're talking about was.
There you go. I'm going to leave it there. The banks will come in hard because the customers will want it. Do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. We will see you on the flip side.